Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna get to know the man, the myth, the legend, before he was all that, Joe Rogan, before his whole podcast and stuff. Let's get right into it. Joe Rogan was a struggling comedian, and also a small sitcom star, and also the host of one of the most popular OG reality shows before becoming a top podcast host in the United States. And honestly, he is just as surprised as anyone that he's become so popular, and he appears to be having a great time with it. He never intended to become a well-known podcast host with millions of listeners, but hey, then again, who would, given how new podcasts were at the time? Rogan was just another stand-up comedian in Los Angeles like thousands of others before him, and he made regular headlines for his hour-long talks when sparked some controversy. While he considered taking up kickboxing, he was sidelined by an injury, and so comedy became his main focus. While pursuing comedy, Rogan stumbled into doing sitcoms, and he got lucky. He has had a lengthy career as the Joe Rogan Experience host, and he's now more popular and well-known than ever. He's been at the center of a few recent controversies, and he's even mocked his own success. But before becoming Spotify's #1 bro, who was Joe Rogan? When Rogan was cast on the 90s sitcom Hardball in the mid-90s, he was doing the LA comedy circuit, but the show only lasted about 9 episodes. Rogan played Joe Garelli, an electrician and handyman at the show's fictional news radio station, on the NBC sitcom News Radio from 1995 to 1999. Originally, actor Ray Romano was cast in the role, but he was fired after only one rehearsal, and Rogan was cast in his stead. As a result of this switcheroony, Rogan worked with the show's writers to help develop the character, which he later described as a very dumbed-down, censored version of himself. Phil Hartman, a fellow cast member, confided in Rogan about his marital problems. Rogan claimed he has tried 5 times to persuade Hartman to divorce his wife, but he loved his kids and he didn't want to leave, quote-unquote, according to Rogan. Hartman was assassinated by his wife in 1998. Rogan's ability to perform stand-up was actually harmed as a result of this loss, and he had to cancel an entire week of scheduled performances. Later, Rogan considered acting to be a simple job, but he grew tired of playing the same character every week, and he only did it for money. Later, he described his time on news radio as a dream job because it allowed him to earn money while performing stand-up as often as he could. He worked on a pilot for a show called Overseas during the series. Fear Factor's host Rogan was born. This was a huge show in the early 2000s when reality television was still relatively new and hadn't yet saturated the television landscape. Joe Rogan became a household name because Fear Factor was pretty insanely popular. And there had really not been anything like it before, dumping bugs and donkey goo on people, but Rogan had predicted that the show wouldn't air or do very well based on what the contestants had to do, but hey, it was money, so he went ahead and did it anyways to help his media career and get paid. Fear Factor exploited contestants' fears by forcing them to perform life-threatening stunts or face more repulsive tasks. It was totally normal to eat worms, be covered in spiders or rats, or even eat the eyeballs of animals. Rogan was a fiery host who would mock some contestants for being afraid to jump off of a building or eat some cockroaches. But he was also encouraging because he didn't have to do anything risky for a living. Fear Factor was a huge hit on television, and some of the stunts even shocked and mildly, if not severely, disgusted Rogan. In 2006, he left Fear Factor and embarked on his next quest, a podcast that some of his fans may or may not be familiar with. Rogan and his buddy, fellow comedian Brian Redban, launched a free podcast in December of 2009. First episode, which was to be a live weekly broadcast on Ustream with Rogan and Redban sitting in front of the laptops bullshit, quote-unquote, was recorded on December 24th. By August 2010, the podcast had been renamed The Joe Rogan Experience, and it made it to iTunes' Top 100 podcasts, as well as being picked up by SiriusXM Satellite Radio in 2011. Guests on the podcast discuss so many different things: current events, politics, philosophy, comedy, hobbies, a variety of stuff. The podcast was downloaded over 11 million times in January 2015. The podcast had been downloaded 16 million times per month by October of that year, making it one of the most popular free podcasts. Rogan announced on May 19th of 2020 that he had signed a multi-year licensing deal with Spotify, with an estimated worth of about $100 million, making it one of the most lucrative licensing deals in the podcast industry. The Joe Rogan Experience will be available on Spotify beginning September 1st, 2020, and it'll be an exclusive to the platform beginning on January 20th of 2021. Clips from the video version will be available on YouTube indefinitely, but Spotify removed 113 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience over the course of a few days in February 2022, in part because some of the episodes were deemed to contain racist and insensitive language. But despite all that, Rogan has become even more popular as a result of this recent controversy over some of his guests' advice, and right-wing website Rumble even offered him $100 million to leave Spotify. Rogan did not take it well, demonstrating his unbiased approach and, of course, his Spotify loyalty. And that's it for today, guys. So, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give that like button a good old fisting, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never fist out on any of our future content we produce for you guys. We're signing off now, but we'll be sure to catch you guys in the next one.